atrocious. But I've made it through the day. I had to rest a little bit. I'm not getting anything done. I used too many missiles this morning going to Walmart because I had to get some stuff at Walmart this morning. I used way too many missiles going to Walmart. I wanted to talk to you all about a few things. I'm going to give it a minute for a couple people to pop in, and then I'm going to try to talk to you all about a few things. Because I was having a conversation with Denise earlier, and my phone died. And so I was having a conversation with Denise earlier, and my phone died. And so I was going to try to jump on here and do a couple things. I can't remember. I know I'm late. I'm sorry. I can't remember if I already have or I was fixing to because my phone died. And I've had one of those days. Denise, check your email, because when my phone died, I found that picture and I sent it to your email. I found a whole lot of actually really great old photos, and I'm actually going to do a video with them later if I have time. I may just go to bed tonight. I'm tired. I had to go to Walmart. I had to use, and of course David had to take me. I used my rolly cart to get around Walmart. I made it. I had to stop and see it several times, but there were certain things that I had to get that I couldn't trust to David or the pickup because they substitute things too much. So I had to get a few things. A lot of y'all have been asking for things that are not dead animal related. I'm fixing to be doing some stuff with some air dry modeling clay. So y'all are fixing to get bamboozled, I'm hoping, by talent that I didn't know I had. I really hope. This is one of my old cardigans I used to wear to work. I have so many cardigans. I have so much court clothes and I don't wear them anymore, and I've started to dig up my cardigans and really just wear the crap out of them because it's cold here again. I need to do my dishes, but so I'm not going to be out here too long. Well, I probably will, but I wanted to come in here and let you know that I can't remember if I already have or I'm fixing to, but I'm fixing to add some non-dead animal stuff to Etsy, and I'm fixing to start doing stuff with some modeling clay. Actually had a local private commission for a different variation of the possum. So that was exciting. But if you want to see Mortimer, here he is. He needs to be fluffed. I ended up giving him whiskers. I just thought he needed whiskers. I love him. I think he looks a little like, he's holding a heart, and then he's holding this that says, "Love makes everything grow," and he's got his little hand around it. I took pictures with my little vine that I've started in his pouch, and then with not. I have got this round. I don't know if I'm going to chalk paint it or leave it neutral, but I'm going to stick him on there so that he's more stable for whoever buys him. Just because, I tell y'all, I'm OCD, and that's how we do things. I'm OCD. So some of you all were saying that you wanted some non-dead animal items. I get that. Not everybody likes the stuff that we do, the trapping, and not everybody likes to have animals on the wall like I do. I get it. Not everybody was raised like me. Do you see others' prices? Did you see others' prices you want to... Do I want to low? I went too low. Well, my thing is I know what I have in them, and because we're starting out, I would rather move some stuff. Like the people that were crocheting these possums, like there's a possum cult. There's a possum cult on Etsy, believe it or not. And I would rather move the items and get some positive feedback in the store, and then make some changes if I need to. But I added this last night. This is actually a piece of work by Maxine Falls, who lives in Maryville, Tennessee. She has been doing art since the late 80s. And this is one of her 90s. She did a very, 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 very detailed barn winter scene on a feather. And then did a pheasant and some trees to round it out. This is gorgeous. Was from my private collection, and I have too much stuff. So I'm gonna let some of my things that I've loved for several years. It's time to let someone else love them. So I listed this last night. Um, I looked up the work that she's been doing, and some of her acrylics and her oils go for hundreds of dollars. Um, she even does like little greeting cards and stuff. But since this was like one of the only, like she's only done a few of these feathers in her lifetime, so I tried to price this um, to where it justified what I paid for it, because I had to go find it at an antique mall in the Great Smoky Mountains. I was in Townsend, Tennessee when I located this at an antique mall, and I had to have it, and I brought it home with me. And I've loved it for years, but now I'm running out of, my house is small, I'm running out of room. But it's beautiful. I took some awesome photos of it. It is so detailed on that feather, y'all. I don't know how she did that. I attempted this once. Epic failure. Never going to try that again. Made me feel like I could not do a thing. So I listed this last night. If someone is a Freddie Mercury fan, but you're like a low-key Freddie Mercury fan, I got this little wood plaque at Walmart. It's just a plain wood plaque. It's got a little hanger on the back. What I did was I transferred a picture of Freddie, and you can see his eyes, his nose, and his mustache right there. I wanted to be kind of hidden. I did a gold mask paint around it, and then I wood burned "So This Is Love," and then I painted it black. It's wood burnt in there. You can feel where I wood burn it. And then I painted it black. And so you can hang this up, and people just think it says "So This Is Love." You could probably even put it in a frame, which would be really pretty. But people that are Freddie fans know that that's Freddie's eyes, Freddie's nose, and Freddie's mustache. So this is love, and that's Freddie back in there, and it's a gold glitter matte finish. I did, a couple years ago, a bangle bracelet. Now, I have too fat of wrists, okay? I have got fat wrists. If you wear this bangle bracelet, it just says Queen on the outside. It just says Queen. And so it's not like what says Queen and then it says VIP. Let me take it off. It says Queen, and then it says VIP. And it is just a resin poured bracelet that I did. And what this was on the inside was the Queen VIP ticket to the, I think it was the Dallas concert. Yes, it was the Dallas concert. And my friend had a meet and greet there. And she kept her ticket for me, and she sent me her ticket, and I made a bangle bracelet out of it. And what I used it for actually at work was a paperweight. And it's not that heavy, but it would keep my papers and stuff there. And if you wear it, it's low key. It says Queen. It's brown. It's neutral. It goes with everything. Nobody's gonna freak out and think you're like an uncontrollable, Freddie Mercury weirdo fan. Unless you're like me and have tattoos everywhere. But it is just a resin bangle bracelet. It's got flex to it, so if you have a bigger wrist, it's going to flex. But I use it as a paperweight. And, this would be something that I would let go really cheap if somebody is a Queen fan. So, and I would probably even bundle those if you're a Queen fan. Because this really is, I used it as a paperweight, and I think that's probably what it needs to be used for. It was the first resin I ever poured. But I love this. I love that I can have a sneak peek of Freddie when I want to. And I love that. Some of y'all requested... Oh, my nose is itching. Some of y'all requested keychains that were not theft related. So what I thought I could do... There were two options with what I have until I make some money and get caught up on some insurance bills and can splurge and try some different things. I did splurge and buy the modeling clay today and bought me a little bit more paint, but that's about all I could splurge for today. Now, where did I put my... Oh, it's right there behind everything. Watch me tip something over. Okay. So what I can do, and I'll just make one while I've got you here with me. Let me see if I've missed anything. People price stuff so high And y'all, I know what I have in it. I know that I'm still learning how to do a lot of this. I know I'm not top of the line. I know that my stuff is good, well made stuff that is very time consuming and precious. But at the same time, I want people to be able to purchase it and enjoy it. And I need to get some really good reviews in my shop, which right now everyone that's left me a review has left me. One girl left me 11 out of 10. She loved it. It was great. And I was like, bless your heart, honey. Thank you. I appreciate that. So what I can do is I can just do these and bead these and make some leather beaded keychains. I love wooden beads. I'm a wooden bead fanatic. I don't know why. One thing I really want to make that, because I want a pair, and then I will make you all pairs. They have these beads called dragon scale beads in jewelry kits, and you can actually get them at Walmart or Hobby Lobby. And then they have like turquoise and seafoam ice melt looking beads that match really well with them. I want to make hoop earrings with the dragon scale dangly beads with the seafoam and turquoise mist beads with them, and do some jewelry, because y'all know I love to wear big honking earrings. When I put earrings on, I want to pick up like radio reception from, the other side of the nation. I love me some big earrings. I'm a big girl. I can pack them, so I love me some big earrings. But what I'm going to do first, since we do have more interest in our, I'm going to have to angle this, in our fur trade jewelry at the moment with some buyers specifically, is I'm going to take the beaver teeth. You know how I showed you that the beaver tooth came completely out of that skull the other day? Which that skull is on its way to Denise, and I glued his teeth in so they wouldn't come out. I'm going to pull the beaver teeth out. I'm going to clean them. If they're natural and they're not like super dingy, ugly natural, then I'm just going to give them a good scrubbing and polyurethane them or resin seal them. If they're ugly, then I'm going to paint them and probably put a gold or silver kind of dusting on them. And I'm going to put the shepherd's hooks down in them and pour resin. So there'll be resin in the beaver tooth. So your earring it's going to be there and it ain't going nowhere. And then I'm also going to be doing some coyote teeth earrings. And I actually found the pin hooks, the eye hooks, for the bones. Like the bone earrings the lady did the other day that I saw that people were going spastic for. And so I'm going to attempt some of those little bone earrings. I know some of y'all may not be into that, but I do have a few people that were requesting that. So I'm going to try to do a couple of them. And then when I get some money, that thing that everybody talks about that never really seems to find me, money. I'm going to get some money. I'm going to buy those dragon scale beads. If you've never seen the dragon scale beads, go look them up. They're beautiful. They're gorgeous. You need coyote teeth earrings? I can do it. I can make you a pair of coyote teeth earrings. Because the resin is so, and I had to splurge for resin today. Stuff's expensive. The coyote earrings, depending on the quality of the teeth, are going to go probably between $22 and $27 a pair. And that is because I'm getting the stainless steel and the hypoallergenic shepherd hooks, the really good ones, so that it will not bother your ears, because I have sensitive ears. So if I wouldn't want to wear it, I don't want you to wear it. So I have to get the nicer stuff so that because I don't want anybody to have problems with them. So I'm going to make coyote teeth earrings. I'm going to make, I'm seriously thinking about trying to make either I've got a skunk skull, and I can split the jaw, and I can make each side of the jaw an earring with the eye hook. Um, but I'm also thinking if I've got one bobcat jaw, one side, and I think I have another that like I put up, and I was like, oh, I'm going to keep this, and I'm going to make a bar necklace, and I never did. If I can find it, I'm going to make 2 bobcat earrings, and I'm going to try to patina those so they're going to be silver. They're going to have a base of like a pewter color. They're going to have turquoise, and they're going to have a little bit of gold. So they're going to look like they're patinaed and that they've been around for a while. But if you like definitely think you want bobcat earrings, even if I find 2 of them and you definitely want them, speak now or forever hold your peace if you want them plain white. I can chalk paint them. I can do a more natural white on them, and I will E6000 all the teeth in so the teeth won't come out. Or I can do any other color that you would want that I can get in an acrylic, and then I can Mod Podge resin or polyurethane, and them suckers won't go nowhere. So if you think you would like bobcat earrings, let me know if you want them plain, because I think I'm only going to have 1 pair. Yeah, I think that's probably going to be where I stick, depending on the grade of the tooth, and how big the canines are and stuff. So, like if it's a smaller canine, you know, and then I'm going to actually make a deer antler earrings. I actually have a pair of deer antler earrings, but what it is like, you cut the little spikes like that off, and you match them, and then you drill little holes and you put them on the shepherd's hook with resin. So I'm going to make some deer antler earrings. I had one woman ask me if I could put these on those large shepherd hooks, or those dangle, what do they call them? I don't know my jewelry. I am such a bad girl. I really suck at being a girl sometimes. It's the ones that go through and they latch. They go through and they... I know what I'm trying to say, but I don't. I read it today and I was like, oh, that's what they call those. Anyway, it goes through and it actually like goes around it and wedges under, and it has a little bit more room, so you can have a bigger earring and it gives you a little bit more length. And I had a woman that wanted these wood burnt with like an elk head or a moose head or something like that. And then I had one woman that wanted me to do a masking tape edge and do a starburst of beads, resin the puppy, and then make matching earrings. And I thought, oh honey, that's a great idea. I should do that. So she gave me a great idea. And of course, y'all know all these things take money. So it's just going to take a while before I can get all of this going and do this. So here are just the plain beaded keychains. So if you want something from me that's just plain beaded, there's that. I can make these all day long. If you would prefer to have something that either I've signed or that I've done something with, and what I can do is use my beading wire, my handy dandy beading wire. And when I say use my beading wire, I mean overlap it, overlap it, overlap it, overlap it, overlap it 5,000 times so it will not break on you. I use the beading wire, and then I will also go back in and use either some jute or a really pretty strong yarn. Probably jute. And what I can do is I can lace this puppy through 5,000 times and make me a little circle here, just a little tiny circle. Watch me stab myself here doing this. If I actually had small beads, I could probably even bead that. You know something? Let's get creative. Let's make this pretty. But if you would like a keychain like this, I can make 2 of these. I have 2 of these left. I did order more of these, but they haven't come in yet. I can either wood burn something onto this for you. No, it's little, so it can't be like super magically detailed. It's tiny. Or I can take my pen paints and I can do a hillbilly heart or a message for you, or you know, if you have a special something you wanted to say, we could do that. So that's another option, because I've had some people say, well, I just want something that says, you know, it's from you, and I'm like, I've never had that request before, but okay. If you really want something from me. Yeah, I'll do a clear coat. That's what I call the clear coats polyurethane, because I'm old school. But yeah, I've got a spray clear coat, and then I've got a dip clear coat, and then I've got a few options for clear coat. So I definitely will have tons of Cody teeth earrings. I will have several sets of those. I will only probably have 1 set of the Bobcat. I'm hoping that I will have one set of skunk. I'm hoping that I'll have a couple set of raccoon. And beyond that, I'm going to probably mix, match, and do some other stuff. I may get some rings and do some drilling, and try to do some tips of antlers and paint them in different colors so they kind of look like Indian inspired, and maybe with some beads in between if I can get some beads. And do some big hoops with little antler tips that have been drilled through, and some beads. So I'm trying to do some more stuff that are girly, because I know some of you girls are like, I don't want anything dead, and I understand that. Well, Gypsy Girl, if you're ridiculously poor, you need to email me. I actually had a mother local today that has a young autistic child, and she wanted a possum like that. There was no way she could afford a possum like that, and I was like, that's a lot of work, so I can't lower my price on that possum. But if you want me to take a small water bottle and just wrap it with 1 sock, felt line the pouch, and not do as much detail, then I can make you a smaller possum, a much smaller possum, which I can knock out really quickly. And I will mount it to David's going to cut me a little wood round so that it'll be a little bit heavier, because her son is autistic, and you know, he does, you know, he's got energy. He bounds around and bounces and bumps into things, so we don't want him to knock it over and feel bad. So we're going to put it onto a actually heavy wood round, and he's going to have a little possum, a little tiny water bottle possum, so that he can start a succulent garden. And so succulents don't take up a lot of space, and that would be the perfect thing. And so I can make a much smaller possum out of a water bottle. Now you won't know what's underneath it, because by the time I get done, you can't tell what's underneath, miraculously. But if you want something and you don't have the funds for one of the bigger projects I do, email me, and we will work out something within your price range. And if we need to, we can just do a little private sale and get it sent to you. I know most people like to do the safety of Etsy, because they don't trust people, and I understand that, because I'm the same way. But if you trust me and you want something, you're just having a fund issue, because believe you me, I understand fund issues. Y'all know exactly what's going on in my life. Um, but I also know that you all get me through a lot of stuff. So if I can meet you all halfway and augment what I'm doing and maybe make a couple of things different so that somebody that is loyal and has been super helpful, if they want something, they can get something. I'm all about trying to meet you halfway. Um, and I had a lady on here named Lisa at the very beginning that actually was going to send her a carving. And then the Christmas shipping prices started, which were out of control. And she was very ill, and I have tried to reach her through the email she gave me and everything. I can't. I hope she's okay, but I'm concerned because she was not well the last time I spoke with her. And she wanted one of Lane's little trees, and I was going to send her a tree, but I was going to say, hey, we're going to have to wait till after the shipping holiday because I can't afford that, but I want to get it to you because she was like over in Iowa or Utah, and I can't find her. And so Lane's got this little tiny morel mushroom and this little tiny tree, and it just kind of sits in his kitchen just waiting to see if I can find her. Because I really wanted to give that to her. And that bothers me that I can't find her. So, let's see. How much were the little cow ornaments? I want a chicken. Oh, like I made my daughter-in-law. Oh, I have to get some styrofoam balls. I'm trying to think. I think I've already got enough fabric to do a chicken. I actually think I might have chicken fabric. Of all the things, I actually think I have chicken fabric. Because I made JJ Longhorn's daughter Juniper a chicken baby blanket. I do strange things. I may actually have chicken fabric. Gypsy, you have my email, right? You have my email? I will have to order styrofoam balls because I have none. Have none right now, and I did not get any at Walmart, and I'm not braving Walmart again until I feel much better because that was way too much on my back today. But I can order them and wait and do 3-day shipping. Do you want it that big or do you want a smaller one? Because the one I did for her was like that big. They have smaller ones or they have the big ones. Do you want a big one or a little one? And I'm just going to tell you he will have dangly legs. Because I'm going to give him dangly chicken legs. Email me. Let me see what I have in my craft room. And if I already have some stuff that is like scrap material that I can effectively use to do that. And that will be a great way to use it. And if I don't have to really go and buy anything but the styrofoam, then we will talk back and forth and we will come up with a price that you can meet. A lot of the price is not the issue, the shipping. Oh my gosh, the shipping is horrible. It's not pleasant at all. But I'm learning. I learned a lot about boxes today because of Denise's order. Boxes are strange things, and the Postal Service doesn't keep a whole lot of different size boxes in, and Walmart does not either. So, and I had to call the post office from the Jeep because I could not get up the stairs, and the ramp was closed for repairs. And I thought, you people really don't care about disabled people, do you? But I called into the post office, and they were like, we do not have a box that size. You're going to have to buy a box. And I was like, well, I have a huge box. I just didn't want to send a huge box. So then I had to go and, like, start bumming for boxes for Denise. I was bumming so many boxes, Denise. I was all over my town like, I just need a box. David he thought it was hilarious. He thought it was very funny. I entertained him amazingly today. So then we went to Walmart because I had a couple things that I could not trust for a substitute, because you know how they substitute the stupidest things. And it wore me out. But then the lady at the other post office on the other side of the county, which I know her very well, she was like, honey, you bring that big box in, we'll cut it down, and we'll make our own box, and we'll get it sent, and it won't cost you an arm and a leg. And I was like, cool beans. Thank you. I appreciate you. So we're going to be, Denise, I'm sorry, but you're going to be getting a Frankenstein box. I hope you're okay with that. But I couldn't find a box anywhere in this godforsaken county. So all that's coming, and you're going to have a letter inside, and I actually do have little hillbilly heart cards. They were for my photography when I did photography, but I'm gonna send you one of those too when I send out the orders. So, I just think it seems like the right thing to do. But I was like writing Denise this big long letter, and my husband was like, "Are we gonna go to town? Or are you gonna keep writing?" And I was like, "I'm not done yet. You have to wait." So Denise, you have a huge letter. It's a 2-pager. So get your Kleenexes handy. And I have a lot of ideas now. I have a lot of things that I'm going to be just surprising you with. There's some things I'm not going to tell you that I'm going to try to do until I attempt it and see if I can do it. But I am fairly confident. I'm fairly confident that I will be able to do the things I want to do. I do not like the way that looks, so I'm fixing to undo that. But yeah, so there's just a lot of new stuff that David and I are going to be trying to branch out to. He calls it them little pretty things, and I'm in charge of them little pretty things. So I'm going to be taking a lot of your all's request for the little pretty things. And eventually I want to do the little, the bangle bracelets you can squeeze and put on. Eventually I want to find a way to do some of those. Add my flair to it, but, I want to do some of those. What I'm doing right now is covering up this wire so that nobody will hurt themselves on it. That is my concern. That's why I'm tying this. And then I will put a dollop of glue over it so that nobody will hurt themselves on it. And it will look like a black bead, but it's actually black leather sinew cording. So let's see if I wish my fingers worked better. I tell you what, y'all are going to be able to tell as my work improves, as my fingers get better, because I still have some issues with my fingers. Okay, now I'm going to cut the little extras off there. But I have this, which is on a little scalloped keychain. Hello, camera's up there, Elizabeth. It's got the little scalloped edges keychain. It's a little wood round. It's on 8. I've bent it over 4 times, so it's 8-ply jewelry beading wire, and it's tied. And then I put a little leather knot over the middle, and I'll clip it off, and I'll put a little dab of glue to hold it so you won't have the strings there, so those will not be there. It will just look like a black thing right there. Now, if someone would like this, and they would like for me to sign it or put a little message and sign it and do it in a paint pen that will not fade, I have like 36 colors of paint pens, then I do not mind to do that for you all. Or if you would prefer, a stencil of a deer head, a stencil of a moose head, a stencil, whatever you could possibly want to stencil, and a silhouette of. Then I can put a silhouette of an animal, or I can do animal tracks and sign the other side. Would anyone be interested in doing something like this? And I can ship this puppy for like $1 in a little bag. So this would literally be like $5. So, I mean, it's like, I'm not trying to, this is just like, when I do some things, I'm going to do certain things and just as a thank you. So this would be like $5 and I've got $1.50 shipping. And these are, I think these, when I have to ship, I basically have to do like $7 free shipping. So it's like $7 or $8 in free shipping, because of the weight of the goddamn beads. But they're good quality beads and they stay with you. I have actually sent out 4 of these and every person that's got them has loved them. Women, I'm not gonna lie, I really think women should have a deer antler keychain, especially if you live in a city. Especially if you live in a city where people frown at you if you carry any other kind of protective devices or a knife. Because these are cut blunt on the back and sanded. They're smooth. You can hook this puppy into your hand, and if somebody comes after you, if you can get an eye and nostril or up under their gullet, they're not going to come after you very long because you're going to hurt them. Sorry, I'm teaching you pressure points. I probably shouldn't do that. I'm sorry, YouTube. But women need to be careful and they need to be safe. So I think if women are going to order an antler keychain, they need to get one with a point. Now, guys, if guys normally like the big, thick ones that show the base of the antler. That's just how guys work. So I do have, I have so much Queen memorabilia. Y'all, I'm not lying. I have a Roger Taylor autograph and a Brian May autograph on the same thing from the Sydney, like the mid-80s Sydney tour they did. And then in 2018, the last North American Queen Convention, I did a raffle and won the Queen 3D book. And as a bonus, Brian May had signed a, what do you call them? It's like a book plate, and then you slide it in the book. And I already have a Brian May signature or autograph, and I already have a Roger Taylor autograph. And so I'm thinking of downsizing. I have a lot of old posters that I've got one from Brian May's single, the other world. Was it the other world? The other world album that he did. I've got the huge poster, and then I've got the accompanying booklet that went with the cassette at the time, which is like unheard of. Like I've seen 3 in my entire life. I've got a whole lot of Queen memorabilia, and it just happened because I was in the Queen Circle, and I still am, but I was very prominent in the Queen Circle for the last several years that I worked and went to the North American Queen conventions for the last few years that, I actually had free money. I could do a few things, and did a lot of raffles, won a lot of stuff, and then I became really, really, really good friends with Peter Freestone. And I got a lot of signed books from him, and I've got a lot of Queen books. I've got a lot of just Freddie books. I've got a lot of pins, and a lot of discontinued pins that a lot of people don't have. I've got a lot of stuff, and I'm gonna have to downsize. I have got I've got an acrylic painting from an artist in Canada. His name is Patrick Lemieux. Anyway, it's got one of those weird names. Very sweet man, very talented man. I've got the old 70s Freddie where he's in the angel cape shirt. and he's got the big glove on, and he's got the mic up, and he's got the longer hair. And I've got it framed. It is signed by the artist, and that's something that I probably would let go because I'm running out of wall space. I've got a lot of stuff from Mark Martel, but it's signed to Elizabeth, so I guess that's just going to have to stay with me, unless I find an Elizabeth that wants it. But I do have a lot of Queen stuff. Yeah, and I've got one of the yellow, or Freddie's Wembley jacket, the yellow jacket. I've got one of those Wembley jacket shirts that's never been worn. It's I think it's a little extra large. It's never been worn. I got it at a raffle. I put it up because everybody was wanting those shirts at the time, and I was like, I'm just gonna keep it. Maybe someday, because I was having pancreas issues. I was like, maybe someday I'll be skinny enough to wear it. Not gonna happen. So that may be something that I put up on Etsy to sell. But I do have a lot of Queen stuff. A lot of Queen stuff. I've got a whole room full of Queen stuff. Just saying. So, probably going to be having some Queen stuff show up as well. But the next big dive is going to be, I'm going to be doing some, like, this was a huge planner. This was a huge thing. I loved it, but it took time, and it was a huge thing. So I'm going to start taking smaller containers, and I'm going to start doing an effect that I have learned in the last couple weeks. And I'm going to be molding them into different animals, but like just the heads, or like half the body, or if it's a small animal, the whole thing. But then it's going to have the whole top where you can put a bigger plant, and you can put more potting soil, and actually have, like, it will be kind of like a knockoff McCoy planter, and it will be made out of modeling clay that will dry. I can sand it, I can paint it, or I can leave it solid. But I'm going to be able to do some really neat things and do some smaller modeling clay planters that will last longer. You have to be careful to ship them, but and they will, I'm actually not a bad sculptor, so they will actually probably look pretty decent like the animal. The first one I want to try to do is a cow head, because my daughter-in-law is a cow fanatic, and if I can do a cow head that my daughter-in-law approves of, then I'm pretty sure I can do any animal. Because she's very picky about her cows. And another thing I'm wanting to do is to make one of these from, I'm trying to find a squatter wider container, because I want to make one of these, but I want to make it to where the hole for the plant is kind of in the back of the head, and I want to make a Highland cow, and I want to make it shaggy with its top knot and its little horns and its nose, and then the back is going to be here, and I want to make it out of yarn because they're really shaggy and have a lot of shaggy hair. But then I also want to do a cow out of modeling clay. So do I have any Highland cow fans in the room? Because I've noticed there's also a Highland cow cult on Etsy. I'm amazed at some of the things that people like. It blows my mind. I'm like, I never would have thought of that. But I'm seriously thinking about doing a Highland cow. Probably just a head. Unless I get just really carried away and decide I want to give him really short stubby legs and name him and turn him into something else. But he will be a smaller project than Mortimer here, and he will have a smaller price. So I like to stay around, when I price things, I like to stay between, for the things that I put a lot of time into, I like to keep them at a size where I can stay between $25 and $40, because I really think if you start to go over that, then you need to reevaluate the materials you're using, and you need to reevaluate kind of what you're doing, because then you're really excluding a lot of people that would really like to have these nice little kitschy things, and they can't afford it if you go way beyond that. Now, there are some things that I may make that may have a hefty price tag to them, but they will probably be more of the native art bone and have like a Native American meaning behind them and go to a specific audience. I have a keychain that is about twice as big as this. It's one of those keychain. It's a key ring. It's one of those big key rings. It's actually probably about that big. Um, I weave dream catchers. I could weave that into a very tiny dream catcher. Or I could turn around and do some kind of crochet onto it and create like a bag holder with a very solid ring mouth instead of a crocheted mouth, or instead of like a hair tie mouth that people start knitting off of. But I have a huge keychain ring, so I don't quite know what I'm going to do with it. But David is also getting me my willow this week as soon as the weather fairs. It was supposed to snow Saturday, so after it snows, he's going to start harvesting my willow. And that is when I will begin weaving the bird houses, weaving the fish. If you've ever seen a willow woven fish, doing the heart wreaths out of the willow. And then they make a spiral. They call them bird feeders, but actually I just like to paint them pretty colors and hang them from the porch because when they spin in the sun, they look like they're spiraling. But I think I'm going to focus mostly on the willow birdhouses because they are either the teardrop or that shape. And so I can also order the solar lights, and if I make them the teardrop shape and leave it pointed at both ends, the top end I can leave some of the sticks sticking up, and I can put the solar energy charger for the lights, and I can weave those little copper dainty lights into the willow bird house, so at night it lights up. And so you would have a little teardrop birdhouse, and if you had 2 or 3, you would have a very cute yard hanging at night that would light up and be very pretty. I've actually done that for myself, and it lasted like 3.5 years, and I was not kind to it. I didn't bring it in the winter, and I like hit my head on it every time I mowed, and I went after it with a broom one day because a blue jay was trying to get my red-breasted bluebird out of it. So I went after it with a broom trying to get the blue jay out of it, and that I had 3 of those, and those suckers still lasted like almost 4 summers. And I was mean, and I did not seal them. Now these obviously will be woven, and then I will weave the lights into them, and then I will go over them with a sealer that will just add a little bit of extra protection to ensure that the willow does not give or degrade as quickly as it can. Willow is actually pretty good. But one of the things that I have to be careful is I have some plants that I'm going to be planting in some containers this year because I can't take care of my flower gardens anymore, so I've gone to containers. And I'm going to be having a Vining Black Susan and Morning Glories, and I've got to make sure I save enough of the willow because you have to use the 1 to 2 year old willow because they're straight and they bend really well. Because I've got to make an obelisk. It looks like a church steeple with the things that wind around, corkscrew up so that the plants can go. I've got to make 2 of those for my container gardens this year. So after I set aside enough of the willow for that, then all the other willow will be made for birdhouses. And I'm going to do like 3 fish in a bunch attached to a little fishing pole that can be hung up. A lot of people really like those. And some of the stuff I may end up going with David to bluegrass festivals and may not ever make it to Etsy. So that's why I'm going to always try to tell you what I'm up to, what I'm doing, and what's going on. So that's where I'm at right now. I left the earring stuff in the other room because I wanted to leave it out of my way. There's one thing that I am going to challenge myself to make out of water bottles because they're smaller, a little bit more flexible, and they have a little bit better shape. I want to make an elephant. Or at least an elephant's head. And it will be a smaller planter, but it will have to eventually be done out of the clay. But I want to see if I can make an elephant's, a little tiny planter. And it will be a little bit smaller than a pint jar. It will be a little bit smaller than a pint jar. Right here. It will be about this big around, but it will probably only be about that tall. So it'll be, you know, 4.5, 5 inches tall. But then it will have elephant ears and a trunk. And then the top will be open so that you can plant directly into the top. So I want to try to do an elephant head. And I'm a horse lover, so eventually I will end up having to try to do a horse as well, because that's just going to happen. I'm a blacksmith's daughter. I'm going to have to do a horse. David went and bought me a butt ton more of Gatorades because that's about all I can drink right now to keep electrolytes in me. So I'm going to have bottles galore to wash and be able to use. So there's going to be no shortage of anything. And he actually bought a lot of like bulk items today at Walmart. Apparently he has found his middle-aged woman. He's buying bulk now. Don't tell him I said that. But I'm going to be able to do something with those boxes too. I just got to think on it for a minute. Oh, also, if you order a planter from me, and you need a plant, please just let me know and I will wrap it in a paper towel and I will stick it in the mail with the planter because they're all rooted. And you can, if you don't want to put soil in the planter, you can just put water and leave these in there until they get big enough to repot somewhere else. You can totally use it as a water nursery, or you can put potting soil in there and let it grow for a little while until you have to repot it into a bigger pot. I have got 3 of these jars started from that plant that already needs to be cut again. That plant will not stop growing. So if you order a planter from me and you want a vining, one of these old-time vining kitchen plants, just let me know when you order the planter and I will wrap it in a wet paper towel. I will do the like 1 to 3 day shipping and get it to you, and I'll wrap it in a wet paper towel in a Ziploc bag, and I will send you a few slips, and surely one will survive. Look at the good roots going on there. And so that way you will have a planter, and if you absolutely need a plant, you don't have to go to Walmart. If this is the kind you want, I will send it to you. I don't have room for all of them, so they just keep multiplying. Please take them. Unless you want a succulent. I can't keep succulents alive. I mean, literally, you buy them, and then you go, I hate you, I don't want to ever see you again, and they're supposed to live, and I kill them all. Apparently, I love them too much. I don't know why. But I have all of these that anybody could possibly need. They're already starting to put new in. I've got a whole other jar over there, and then I've got another jar, and I've got a stink bug in my house. You know it's going to snow when the stink bugs start coming in. So I have plenty of slips to start you in a plant. And so if you order a planter, you need a plant, I got you covered. Pheasant feathers are great. They're gorgeous. Unless I can find somebody that has an ornamental fowl farm, they're very hard for me to come across in my neck of the woods. I have a guy that has an ornamental fowl farm, but he does not have pheasants, so he sends me goose down, he sends me peacock, he sends me some turkey, and then he'll send me off and on some, you know, like some of the, like the Spanish black chicken feathers that almost have a teal color to them because they're so black. And I pay him like $5 to $10 a bag to pick them up and send them to me. So, and it's what comes out of them on the ground. He picks them up, so nobody's plucked, nobody's hurt. I cannot come across pheasant feathers. It's very difficult, and to buy them online is very, very, very difficult. So yeah. And I think when I do a couple of things, once I get the Etsy kind of moving a little bit more, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a couple of things. If I make something that really strikes my fancy and I think it's just like me and it screams Elizabeth, I think that we may do a giveaway. So we may either do a trivia, we may either do like I may give you a topic and be like, write a short essay, or do something to where I get to like go through and be like, who do I think needs to win this? And if I do that, then I'll have to have like a panel of other people that don't know you to weigh in. But we'll have to do some giveaways as I get to doing better, because it's only fair, because y'all spend your time with me, and it's only fair that I do giveaways. So, if you have pheasant feathers and you would like to send them to me, you can email me at watersworkload@gmail.com, and I can PayPal you whatever you need for the feathers and the shipping, so that you can get them to me, because pheasant feathers are beautiful. They truly, really do, like, they top off a lot of creations. They're very beautiful. I just can't get them around here. We do not have. I've seen 2 pheasants my entire life in this neck of the woods, and I'm pretty sure that the farmers raise them and put them out. Okay, if you want the dream catchers, here's the options that you have for dream catchers. I can do one that is like, I think the biggest priority box they have is like 16 inches. I can do a 16-inch willow or grapevine, completely made by me, cut by me, soaked by me, bent by me, woven by me. I can weave in beads or some of the prettier crystalline beads, whatever colors you like. And then I can, I've actually done, I did a dream catcher for a woman who wanted a very simplistic but classic dream catcher, and I've got pictures. I will try to find it and post it on the community page. I did one for her, and it was like the biggest box that Priority had, and it was woven in a medium, like a medium tight density, and it had the really pretty glittery beads. It was for her daughter's bedroom. It had goose down feathers, and then it had the really large glitter beads, and I had like 3 or 4 feathers, and then leather coils, and it was beautiful. And I think I only charged her $25 for that, because I got the beads on sale at Hobby Lobby. Y'all, if I get stuff on sale and I don't have the normal cost into something, then that will reflect in the price that I put on. Because if I normally spend $8 to $14 on a box of beads, and I get them on sale at Hobby Lobby for $2 to $6 instead of the other, then it's going to reflect in my price, because I'm going to cut it down. I just think that's fair. That's just how I go. Also, if you if anyone would want this, after I cut that off and glue him, so he'll just be a keychain like that. He will dangle like that, but he will not have the black thing sticking out. If anyone would like this, I can put whatever you want on it, and we can do like $6, and I'll cover the shipping, because I literally think it'd be like a buck to ship it, like $1 or $1.80. And I sat here and made it while you were watching me, and a lot of people said they just wanted something that reflected me, or that they knew that I made was from me. So if someone wants that, let me know. Claim it. Tell me what you want on it, what color. I'll put it on it. And if it's such a small thing, then we can just, if you trust me, we can just do a private PayPal sale and get it to you. David knows that the money's going to end up in his bank account anyway, so he doesn't care as long as it ends up there. So that's what I'm going to do. Also, what I'm going to start doing the next time I get to Walmart, because they were out today. You know the big wooden spoons that everybody has in their kitchens that some people put on the walls and stuff? I have wood burnt those for years and years and years. People have ordered them for Christmas presents. I've put red stags on them. I've put white-tailed deer on them. I've put horses on them. I've put fleur-de-lis on them. I've put birds on them, chickens on them, sheep on them. I've done patterns. I did a native one year that was really intricate. That one really made me cross-eyed. But I normally burn 2 spoons, cross them, put a ribbon, and I sell them as a unit. And depending on how much time I've had to wood burn them, those 2 spoons normally go for around $12 to $16, depending on how much time I've had to wood burn. And if you have a specific order, then you can let me know and I can wood burn specifically what you want. Most of the time when people do that, they don't stiff me. Like when they say they want something, they want it, and I make it, and they always follow through with it, so it doesn't bother me to do that at all. But Walmart did not have any of the pretty spoons today. They just had the little crappy ones, and I'm sorry. If I'm going to wood burn something, it's going to be pretty. So they didn't have any of the pretty spoons today, so I'll probably have to do, go to Walmart, the app, and see if I can find them in another close store and get them sent. Because I really want the pretty spoons, and because I'm not going to burn those little dinky ones that, because a lot of people still want to use them after they're wood burnt, and you can, that's fine. I just burn them, I try to burn them heavy enough that it takes you a long time to ruin the pattern or wash off, what's been done to where you can't recognize it. A lot of people just really like to use them. But if you want them to just hang them on the wall, then I can crisscross them, wire them, and make a really pretty bow, and put a hanger on the back, and you can just hang them. My mother's got I don't know how many, and I'm also going to be doing at least one rag tear wreath, and I don't know if I'm going to be doing just a plain one, like on the coat hanger like I did beforehand, and kind of dress it up. I also have a chain. It's a half moon and a half moon. It's got a chain in the middle so it folds over, but it's circle, and it's got a chain, and it can hook to any curtain rod or any nail on your porch, and it's got a flower pot wired. It's metal in the middle, and you can slip out the inside and put a plant in it and put it in. And I was going to make that into a rag wreath, so that somebody could start a plant, and then the plant could vine around it. So I've got a lot of stuff coming. It's just getting it all done. And my trip to Walmart today, I got some of the stuff that I was kind of stuck needing before I could move forward. So well, as long as you pick them up, roosters and pheasants, and they all fight, and that's how their feathers come out. Everything fights. If you have them and you want to send them to me, email me, watersworkload@gmail.com. Yell at me. I don't care to give you something for the feathers and to give you shipping to get them to me. That's only fair, because I'm going to use them to make money, so you should make money on getting them. That's only fair. So if you will email me, we can work that out, and I can send you what you need and to get them to me. Okay, Tennessee has. I'm going to email you. I'm sure you want 3 dream catchers. Okay, so 3 dream catchers. When you email me about the dream catchers, tell me specifically about each of the girls and what they like, because when you make a dream catcher, you have to weave an intent into your dream catcher. I know I'm going totally Cherokee onions right now. It's my great grandma coming out at me. But you have to weave your intent into the dream catcher. So if they have nightmares, if they struggle with something, if they have anxiety over something, if they're working really hard about something, or if they have a dream, a goal that they're talking about, tell me everything that you can so that I can make it their colors. If I can put things and charms and stuff on there that will, reflect their individuality. Because when they get it, I want them to know that it was made for them and that somebody took the time to understand them and make it for them, and that is their dream catcher and it is going to work for them. And then you need to explain to them about how the dream catcher works. And if need be, I can type it out or write it out and send it in a little card, and you can just read it to them. So I enjoy sharing the things that I learned from my little elders. I enjoy sharing. Even though I always got put in the women's tent making crafts and the guys always got to go and make the drums, I wanted to make the drum. But I still learned a lot and I really enjoyed it. And dream catchers are one of my favorite things. I don't go super crazy with the weaving. I try to make it pretty, spaced out really nice. But I don't try to go super crazy. And that is just because if something were to happen, be it especially with children, if they were to think, well, I'm going to take this down and I'm going to move it, and then they were to break a string, if it's a super intricate weave, mom or dad's not going to be able to fix that puppy. But if it is one of the easier weaves where you can kind of follow the pattern and see, it's going to be something that you can fix and put back together. And so I don't go super intricate on stuff, especially for kids, because that way if something happens, 9 times out of 10, y'all can fix it back and it's going to look just as good. But honestly, if I make you something like the lady that I'm doing the little possum for here that's local, her son is got autism. And she's very afraid that he will not be able to control himself one day and either crush, tear, rip. And I was like, listen, when I make it, what we're going to do is we're going to have an adoption contract, and we're going to have an adoption. So I'm going to bring over his possum that day, and we're going to have an adoption proceeding. He's going to have to raise his right hand, and he's going to have to say he's going to care for his possum. And he's going to care for the plant and the possum. And he has to understand he's responsible for this thing, because he's at this age where we're trying to get him to be more responsible, to show more empathy, sympathy, and to understand how to care for things. But it's going to be, that's why I'm making it out of a plastic water bottle and yarn, because we know that he does have some, some aggressive tendencies sometimes. And it's just because he's a kid that, 99% of it is just because he's a kid. And the other is that sometimes it's hard for him to control the emotions and the physicality and how it pronounces. So we're going to go through a whole entire adoption contract agreement. He's going to sign an adoption contract, a form, and he's going to have to raise his hand, and it's going to be just like what I saw in family court. He's going to have to pledge to take care of this little thing, and it will have a name. I will have named it by the time we get there. And if something should happen, if he does have an accident, then the deal is going to be that he is going to have to contact me. Mom cannot. He's at the age now where he's going to have to start taking care of these things. He will have to contact me and tell me what happened, how he was injured, 3 ways that he could have changed his behavior so that he could have not injured, the possum, that he could have used his energy in a more productive manner. And as long as he can follow those rules and tell me 3 ways that he could have used his energy in a more productive manner, then I will take him back and I will repair him and I will take him back to him. But this is about him learning responsibility and the big ones, which are empathy and sympathy, and that's very difficult for children that are autistic. and it's especially difficult when they're getting into these ages where the hormones are starting to also override with everything else. And so we're just going to try to help him, just try to make this a learning lesson and a positive thing, and put him into more of a responsible role. And he, he has had a few issues at school, with learning how to positively direct energy, because he gets super excited, and sometimes that super excitement ends up coming across as dangerous to other kids or scary to other kids. And so this is going to be one way we're going to make him start to stop, slow down, and think about these things, because I know he will like what I make him, because he has seen a picture of this one and absolutely gone crazy, and he wants one so bad he can't see straight. So this is the deal. We're going to turn it into a learning environment, and the mom's ecstatic about that. But I told her as long as he could do that, I would always repair it for him and send it back. And so if I make something for somebody, and I try to make it where it will not fall apart, because I'm OCD and type A. But if something happens, and then we'll get it back and I will repair it, or if you're completely not happy, then we'll financially, make amends. But I try to make everything to where it will really last a long, long time, and that you will get your use out of it. I mean, if you've had it for 7 years and then it finally breaks and you call me, I'm going to be like, you had it for 7 years. But, if you just have it for a very short while and something happens, then I'm going to be like, yeah, absolutely. Send it back to me, and let me give you some money to send it back to me, and I'll repair it, send it back. Or if you want to try to repair it, I can send you the money or the beads or whatever you need, and you can try to repair it. But I'm not going to be one of those people that does not work with their customers. So, but make sure you do tell me about the girls in the email, because I want it to be special for them. Intent is a big thing with me. You all know that. Okay, I'm trying to get caught up, and Denise said, so Denise, you're interested in dream catchers too. Bless your heart, honey. Are you sure you don't want to take a pause and wait? I mean, I'll make them, but are you sure you want them right now? Bless your heart. You've had a big week. Do you want a house painted on a spoon? Hang on. Can you paint a house on the spoons instead of burning? If you have painted a house with let me show you something. I think I may have something that you would like. I probably need to dust it, but I think I have something that you may like that I have run out of room for, and it's been like, where am I going to put this thing? It keeps moving to find its place, and it hasn't found its place. It's made by a local artist from Clinton she works in tandem with the Museum of Appalachia. Hang on. Oh, boy, I'm slow. I got up, and then automatically my body said, Now, hang on. See, now I've moved stuff so much I have to find it. Oh, here it is. My house is also really dirty right now, y'all, because, well, it's not dirty, it's piled. It's piled because I cannot spend time walking stuff back and forth. And so my poor house is just piled. So I actually have this big paddle churn thingy. I put a burlap wreath on it. It's got a heart in the handle. And it's got a barn and a snow scene. And I think her name was Ann. Yeah, Ann S. She was a really sweet lady. I knew her for about 5 years. And I bought this from her. And, oh, you want a horse? Oh, yeah, I can paint a horse. Yeah, no, not a problem. I'll have to get one of the larger spoons. So it may be a little bit of a larger price, but I can paint a horse. Not a problem. I thought you said house. I'm blind. I am getting my eyes checked. They are trying to actively fit me in right now. So it's happening. Um, Southern Hell has got a conversation going. I'm going to have to go back and read when it loads because it must have been something. I've actually had sleep paralysis before. Um, and you best believe that this very independent, brave lady that supervised violent male offenders and murderers got up the next day and made a dream catcher to put over her bed because I had sleep paralysis. I woke up and I was awake and I could not move, and I heard something calling my name. I could hear my children playing in the backyard. They had already got up for the morning, and David had taken them out, and they were eating they were eating bananas and like toasters drill or something on the back porch and kind of running around the backyard playing, and they were supposed to be sitting at the picnic table, but they weren't. And I heard something calling my name, and I thought it was my children, but it was not, and I could not move. And I had to sit there and actively force myself to move and to like talk. And that was the weirdest experience I've ever had. I was not on any medication. I was perfectly healthy at the time. I do not know what that was, but this woman, who is a very buxom, burly, independent, mean, and fierce woman, she sat on that back porch that day and made her husband go cut a willow twig down by the spring. And I went and got me some jute cord, and I went to weaving. And my husband said, "What is wrong with you?" And I said, "I had sleep paralysis this morning." And I said, "That's not happening again to me." And of course he's like, "What is that?" And I'm like, there's a lot of options as to what people think it is. I actually think it's something that's evil and something that likes to toy with you, and therefore I'm telling him, "You're not allowed to touch me no more, and you gotta stay away." So I do have, like, I'm a very rational person, but I do have my teachings from my elders in the back of my head, and I do remember those things, and I think about those things. So you best believe I made me a dream catcher that day, and I hung it up over my bed, and it stayed there until it broke, and then I made another one, and there's still one in my bedroom. So they're 15 going on 16. Okay. Yeah, and a lot of I mean, I can do the intent and make it, and but the big thing is when they get it, um I'll have to write it out for them and tell them the intent, the belief, and how it's supposed to work, and how my people believed in them. Because in almost every native tribe, there was something woven that was used as a protection against evil. Whether it was a dream catcher, whether it was deer antlers, a deer skull, and they wove between the deer antlers, whether there was, every tribe had weavings that were used as protection. And I actually have a deer skull with a dream catcher woven in the antlers on my back porch. So I'm sure people, when they visit me and they walk around to my back porch and they see it, they probably think I'm very strange. I have a little kid-sized guitar that is painted turquoise, and I was going to cut the top of it out and use it as a planter, but then I had like a little sparrow or something, a swallow or something, nest in there and lay eggs, and so I had to leave my screen door cracked till I could train it to go out the crack. And so when I would latch my screen door, I would have to leave the top latch undone and pull it in so he could get in. Well, she could get in and out. And so I didn't get to finish my guitar last year, my planter. So I've already checked. She's not in it this year. I told David we're taking it down this weekend. I'm going to turn it upside down so that nothing else can get in there, and I'm turning it into my planner this year. But she put her babies in it last year, so I couldn't do that. I was going to put a black and green sweet potato vines in there to grow, and she ruined that because she had to go have her babies in there, but that's okay. But she learned. Now I do have a bird that knows how to get in and out of my back porch, my screened-in back porch. And she still does come in, but she's not tried to nest yet, and we're going to turn it upside down before it snows this weekend. And hopefully she will pick one of the 5,000 gourds that I have made and put in my yard. That's another thing I can make too. I make gourd houses depending on how people's crops turn out. So dragonfly. Did you know that you can weave? You can use willow to weave a dragonfly, and it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. I love to look at anything that is woven from willow. I think it's beautiful. I love it. Absolutely love it. Y'all, I think I'm going to put this on Etsy because I have no room for it. My house is tiny. I have so much stuff. Oh, and I'll show you something else that I got from Ann. Hang on. I'm so slow today. Getting up and down is a problem. I'm just slow. Hang on. I'll show you something else I have from Ann. You'll love it. Oh. I'm so old. I got this to match. She's such a sweet woman. This is one of those really old spoons. You can tell it's kind of oxidized. This is like a pretty big spoon. This is a 5x7 frame, and this is the spoon. It's a big spoon. But I got it to match. Look at all that. Look at the details she put in that. Isn't that beautiful? And she signed it on the back. What does it say? It's number 357, and it was made in, oh my gosh, I've got to get my glasses. I think it's 2005. It's either 2003 or 2005. Is that not beautiful? Now, I just put a green ribbon on it to hang it up because I've just kind of had it hanging on my wall. I have too much stuff in my house. I've got to get rid of some stuff. So I may put these Ann Smith, and she just signs everything Ann S. I may put these on separately. These were purchased. We were invited. My mother did an Appalachia program with her 5th grade students. And we were invited to the Museum of Appalachia for 2 years in a row to put on that program. I had to go as a chaperone, and because I was a tutor in the school with AmeriCorps, and so since they already trusted me and had me fingerprinted stuff, they would always make me go as a chaperone. And it was my mom's classroom, so it just worked. So I went, and every year I bought something off Ann. And I have a couple of other things, but they're not kitchen items. My house is shrinking, and I have so many quilt racks. And I sold 4 huge pieces of taxidermy last year. My house is shrinking, y'all. And because I now need a walker and a rolly cart to get through it, and I need certain medical equipment, and I need to get stuff that I like. I like to put the big gold elaborate picture, like the huge picture frames, like you can put a full size painting in it on the floor. My grandmother got me into that. My grandmother was one of those home interior freaks that got me into doing that. I can't do that anymore. I have to put all of my pictures up on the wall. I've had to take some of my home interior down and give to friends. I've still got some home interior put up because I don't have enough wall space because I refuse to take my taxidermy down. So I'll probably be putting these up. This has got some, now she burns these too, like she coats them with something and burns them too, but then they patina on their own as well. But I probably will list these separate on my Etsy as well. I've got so much stuff. When I tell you that I was a crafter and I'm a hoarder, I'm not lying. But my daughter-in-law is also a crafter, and she makes very beautiful things, and she always makes me gifts. And I will keep everything she gives me, and I will sell other stuff to make room because I'm going to keep the stuff that that my daughter-in-law. I'm going to keep the stuff that my daughter-in-law makes for me. So I've got some stuff that I'm going to have to part with. I've just got too much stuff. Okay, so here's what we need to do because we've had this long chat. If you know that you want something specific and that you absolutely want it, you want to talk price, and you want to get an order in, email me, watersworkload@gmail.com, and we will talk about what it needs to be, how much decoration you expect on it, how shiny you expect it. If you want to see an example of my work, and if I've done it before, I will dig it up and show. I'll try to do some community posts too so that it's on here, but I will email it to you as well. We can get it flattened out. And what I can do is, a lot of people don't like to do private sales, and I understand that. That's fine. They like to have something to where they can contest a charge, and that's fine. I want you to feel safe. So if you want to order it, you want to do it, we'll do like I did the other day with Denise, who absolutely wanted that coyote wreath I made. And as soon as I post it, I send you the link that it's live. And I think it might have been live for 4 minutes, and it was like, it is in someone's cart. And I was like, wow, that was nice. I really enjoyed that. That was a very great feeling. And so I don't care to do that. That's perfectly fine. And that way you have the safety of that purchase through your PayPal or credit card that you can contest and have a receipt for and all that good stuff. And I don't mind to pay the fees and stuff. That's fine. If you feel safe, that's fine. It's the way to go. I just want everybody to feel safe. But you need to email me, tell me what you want, so I can start to make a list of things that I need to prioritize and do first. And I need to do the things that I actively have the stuff for, or David can actually go out to the woods and get it so I can start, because I have to soak the willow and the any wood that I'm going to shape into a dream catcher. I have to soak so I can bend. Even if it's grapevine, I have to soak it so I can bend it. So I have to get David out to cut it so I can soak it so I can get it bent and wrapped. And then I have to hang it up and let it dry before I can work on it. So I need an email so I can get all this started. It does not need to be any more than around 12 to 14, 15 inches, because the big box is 16 inches, and if I add decoration or I add padding, I need it to fit in that box, because I'm not going to do this box fiasco ever again. This is a bad day. But you need to email me so that I can have a record. I can make a list, and I can check these off as I get them done, and we can get them accomplished and posted so that you can get them purchased and get them home. But now I will tell you that the first thing I do have to do is the little possum for the autistic boy, but it should only take me a day and a half max. So that will be a quick one, but he is a priority for me because of the behaviors and because of it's kind of like a little tiny treatment plan for his mom to help him learn how to understand his anxiety and energies amping up, be aware of it, understand that it can hurt, harm, and it can be unintentionally damaging and scary. And then he learns if he hurts it, he has to come up with 3 ways to tell me how he could have used that energy in a more positive way to where he could have funneled it and it wouldn't have harmed anyone or scared anyone. Just to start to get him thinking. So he is priority. I have to get this done first for him because he's priority for me right now. But that will take a day and a half. So email me. Let's get all this lined up. And as I get the earrings put together, because every once in a while I have to kind of walk away from what I'm working on, because it kind of has to talk to me and tell me what it needs and wants to become. Sometimes I have to walk away from it and let it talk to me. And when I do that, I'll probably go and then I'll hammer out a little pair of earrings or something and get them posted. So if you absolutely want something, you know you want it, you know you're going to commit to it, and you want to talk about price and getting it ordered, watersworkload@gmail.com. Let me know so that if David has a part in it, I can get David going. And then if I need to help him with stuff, I can get my stuff going. And then we can get it all taken care of. And honestly, the best way, what makes me the most comfortable, unless it's like a $4 or $5 little thing, what makes me the most comfortable is to post it on David's Etsy page. Tell you immediately when it's posted so you can go buy it. I would rather pay the fee to Etsy and pay the fee for the ad so that you had the protection and felt safer about the purchase. I would rather lose a few bucks so that you felt better about your purchase. So that would be how I'd like to do that. But I'm feeling better, and I have to sit a lot now. So if y'all want to keep me busy, email me and let's start getting these lined up. So I'm busy because I don't care a bit to do this. I enjoy this, and it certainly is helping us bank the money for the new insurance plan that is starting April 1st, which is so weird that it's starting on April Fool's Day. I should have thought about that. That makes me feel really bad now. So email me clearly what you want. I mean, literally outline it so I know each item, who it's for, what it's about. If it's dream catchers, describe your children, colors, things they're actively involved in, so that I can make it for them. And if I have more questions, I will ask them. And then I'm going to list a few more things. I'm going to clean off my kitchen table because it looks like a bomb went off. I'm going to make that possum, and then we'll start on the list that is in my email. So David is not supposed to work Saturday and Sunday because we're expecting snow. But if the weather is not super nasty, he can get out to cut me enough grapevine or willow to where I can get it soaking so that I can get the process started. So, because he's been working till like 2 and 3 in the morning so that he doesn't have to work this weekend because they were afraid the plant would shut down because they're saying snow. Lots of snow. Okay, and as soon as I have enough willow, I will weave a birdhouse so that you have an example so that you can make an informed decision on if that's something that you would like. It's June 1 night that we were dressed. I'm telling you, dreams, if you ever don't read anything from Freud about dreams. Just take Freud out of psychology and set him over to the side. He's useless. If you ever read anything about dreams, don't just read one interpretive book. Read 2 or 3. Because if you just read one, they're going to freak you out. Read 2 or 3 so that you have a well-rounded idea. Because dream interpretation is very much a subjective field. And it's a lot of theories, and the theories can't help but have that person's bias in the theory, even though they think they're not biased. That person is biased somehow, and those biases show up. So never read just one book on dream interpretation. Read 2 or 3, and get a well-rounded thought process on it, because that's one of those things that you should never just talk to one person. You should talk to a few. I'm here to tell you, if my pancreas is having a bad day and it is making too much acid, even if I take the medicine to try to reduce the acid, or even if I try to drink something that I know or eat something that will calm the acid or coat my stomach and try to calm it down, if I have bad acid, if I do not prop myself up to where I'm up on a few pillows sleeping, I will have horrible dreams. So if my pancreas is ever bothering me, I end up having about 7 pillows around me to where I'm propped up, and David is perched on the edge of a king-size bed. But if I don't do that, I will have horrible dreams. And it's from the acid. And but I have also had dreams out of nowhere when I've not had any problems for months. Life's been going great, and then I will have an absolutely horrible dream. I had a dream one night I had a dream one night that something like there was a storm coming, or there was something coming over the mountain making noise, and I couldn't tell if it was a tornado, a storm, or like a thunderbird, and like it was in this crazy dream, and I was trying to tell David, "Do you not hear it? Do you not hear it? We've got to get out of the house. We've got to be able to hear where it's going to land. I think it's going to, I think it's going to come to get us. I think it's going to come and land on us." And I was having this crazy dream. I actually smacked David in my dream, and he woke me up and was like, "You hit me." And I was like, "I'm sorry." And I said, "I don't feel good." I said, "I feel like something is on its way to get us." I said, "I feel like something's coming over the mountain to get us. Like it's a storm that's not splitting, but it's coming over the mountain, or something's coming over the mountain to get us." And I said, "I feel like we're in danger." And I made him like open the gun safe and put extra guns out that night. And I was like, I just feel safer knowing I have something, closer and a few options. And he was like, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God." And we hadn't been married very long. And y'all can look this up in my area in Fentress County. We hadn't been married very long. Late that night or early that morning, it was either a small plane or a helicopter. It's been too many years now. Carrying like several people, tried to cross a different way over the plateau and come up the mountain a different way, but they were not familiar with it, and they got off the flight path. And it's very dangerous here because we have a lot of fog and we have a lot of bad conditions quite quickly here. And they got in bad conditions, and they did not clear the mountains, and they wrecked. And they crashed over part of a ridge where, just on the other side of the gorge, I had cut miles and miles and miles of horse trails at the trail stables where I worked, and they crashed all over on the other gorge side, and it took them weeks to recover everyone. And we got up the next morning, and I was up and down all night. I did not feel good. Something was wrong. I kept having bad dreams. I could not sleep. I told him, I said, I don't feel good. Something's wrong. And then we got up the next morning, and he heard the news, and he looked at me. And he goes, "Okay." That was strange. And I've done things like that a few times. Like, we had scheduled a trip to go to the Smoky Mountains, to go to Cades Cove. And we were very excited to go because we hadn't gone anywhere in several years, and I was actually doing well enough to take a small trip. It was right before I got really sick one time, and I had like a 3 or 4 week really great time, and I was like, "Let's take a trip. I feel good. Let's go somewhere." Cades Cove is our favorite place to go. We were on our way to Cades Cove, and I told David, I said, "Be careful, be careful. I just feel like there's a crash somewhere, and we're going to run up on a crash, and we're going to end up in a wreck, or we're not going to see something that's happened. Please pay attention. I just feel like something's happened up ahead, and we need to be prepared." And he was just like, "It's just where you've not gone anywhere in so long, and you've not driven so far. It's okay, let's chill out." 10 minutes later on the radio, it broke in, and it said that Troy Gentry had crashed in his helicopter and passed away. And my husband looked at me and he goes, "Yep, should have known." I do stuff like that all the time. I don't understand. I don't understand what I'm saying. I just have a vibe. I know something's wrong and something's going on. But I do it a lot. And I will have nights to where I swear I will feel like somebody is trying to get my attention to talk to me, and I'm trying to lay there, and I will see movements, and it doesn't feel malicious or anything, but I'll see movement, and I will sit up in my bed, and I will be like, "It is 2 a.m. I'm needing to sleep. If you wanted to talk to me, you should have done it before 2 a.m. You need to leave, because me and Jesus are going to sleep, and you're leaving my house." And my husband would be like, "You feel better now?" And I'm like, "Yes, I feel better now." And I'll lay down and go to sleep. And it won't happen anymore. And I've just always been that way. And I do stuff like that a lot. I called my granny one time and I said, "You've been on my heart, Granny. Something's wrong. Are you okay?" And she had fallen off the back porch that morning, had not told anybody, and actually had a huge hematoma on her leg, and they had to go in and drain it. And they said, had she not got it checked out, that they were afraid it could have ended up, causing a blood clot. And she was like, "How did you know to call me?" And I said, "I just knew something was wrong." And I was like, "You need to call your granny. You need to call your granny. You need to call your granny." And I said, "So I called you." And my granny very calmly looked at me and she said, "You're just like your papa's people." And I said, "What does that mean?" And she said, "Well, when your papa died," which my grandpa, he had one of the first spiderweb brain tumors that UT in Knoxville had ever seen. And my granny actually donated his brain for research. That was hard on her, but she knew it was the right thing to do. And by the time he was diagnosed, within 3 months, he was dead. It was that quick. And he was from Indiana, and his family was very close. And of course, Granny grew up with the folklore and the native stuff, and so when his family would talk about stuff like that, it wouldn't freak her out. But he passed away at home in the back bedroom, and he had tried to get up to come up the hallway. I think he knew he was fixing to pass. He had stood up, and he had fallen. And for the first time in months, he had said her name, and he had called for her name, and she had ran down the hallway because he had been sleeping, and he had passed away. And her son that was there with her helped her pick him up and put him back in the bed. He was already gone. The phone rang, and my granny went up the hallway and answered the phone, and it was my papa's brother, and he said, "My brother just died, didn't he?" And I did not know that until my granny said, you're just like your papa's people." And I was like, "What does that mean?" And then she told me that story, and I was like, "I'm just like my papa's people. I get that." I had a very bad dream when I was a little girl. I was in 6th grade. I had a very bad dream that I was trapped in a fire. I couldn't get out. I was trying to find other people. I was not being burned, but it was scaring me. But I was trying to find other people that were being burned, and I could not find them. And I woke up in a sweat, crying, screaming. My mother and father took me up to the kitchen, gave me a glass of water. And my dad, who was a Baptist minister at the time, was thought like I had the devil in me or something. I was like, "I had a really bad dream." I was like, I was in a house. I wasn't being burnt, but the house was completely engulfed in flames. But I was trying to find people that were actively being burnt. I could hear them screaming in pain. And I said I couldn't find them. I couldn't save them. And I said it terrified me because I couldn't help them. And I was like, "I don't want to go back to bed." I said, "I don't want to go back into that dream. Can I just sit up in the living room tonight? Can I just sit in the recliner tonight and turn on, Turner Classic Movies or something?" And he was like, "No, you're going back to bed." And I was like, "I don't want to go back to bed." I was just in 6th grade. And literally 2 months later, there was a family of 7 that perished in a house fire. And my mom and dad kind of looked at me, and I kind of looked at them. And I was like, I was only 6th grade. I was like, wow, wow. But I've always been that way. I've gone to barns. And where people have trained horses, and they'll say, "Oh, we've got a problem horse." And I was a pretty good trainer, and I was known really well in Middle Tennessee, and my dad was a really good trainer, and I would show up at these barns, and they'd be like, "Well, let's ride him while you're here and see if you can pick up on something." And they got this beautiful bay Pasifina out, and he was finding the cross tie. As soon as they started putting the saddle on him, he got nervy. He started prancing and getting really agitated, but I noticed that he kept dropping his right shoulder. So when he was prancing, he was agitated. He was not using his right shoulder. is saying that he was using his left shoulder, which told me that there was pain somewhere that was causing that momentum to be off. And so, like, I was looking at him and I was like, dude, I can feel you're in pain. I know you're in pain. That's, you know, and I'm trying to read his body and look at him. And he's looking at me and he knows I'm intently, like, watching him. And I'm standing by the edge of the round pen. They had a huge round pen in the middle of this huge open barn. And I'm standing, and when the horse went by, he nudged me. And I pet him, and I pat him on the butt when he went on by. And when I pat him on the butt, I felt him lurch. And I said, he's got an abscess in his right front foot. And the guy said, how do you know? And I said, when I pat him on the butt and he lurched, I said, I smelt infection in my nose. And he said, you smelled infection? I said, have you not ever smelt an abscess out of a horse or a cow's foot? I said, I smelt it. He said, I don't smell anything. He got off, and he said, I just cleaned his feet. And I said, did he give to that foot? And he said, well, he's never been easy to clean his feet. And I said, well, that may be why. And he tapped all around, and of course the horse was mad that any foot was being touched, and it was because he was in so much pain. Called the vet came out 3 days later. Sure enough, there was a hot pocket, and what it was he had gotten a piece of gravel or pavement or something up in the bottom of his hoof, and it had missed his frog and his cannonbone and everything, but it had worked up the outside, and it had gotten stuck. Normally it had come on out the top, but it had gotten into that really, like, cartilage jelly part of the hoof that's really close to some of the important stuff, and it's just harder for an abscess to work out. And it had just set up a huge abscess, and so they actually had to, like, shave and drill into his foot, and it just poured. I mean, and we all were like running out the barn because the wind was blowing the wrong way. And he healed within it took him about 3 months, but he healed. And the little guy looked at me and he was like, how did you know that? And I was like, just what I picked up. And I've done that a lot. I've been on trail rides, and I've looked at people and I've said, you need to stop that because you're ticking that horse off and you're fixing to get dumped. And they're like, he's fine, he's acting completely fine. I said, he's not. And I said, whatever you're doing, I said, is hurting him. I said, do you have something under your saddle blanket? I said, have you checked? I said, you've been, like, plowing through the woods and off trail. Have you got something under there that's bothering him? Because he's showing all the signs. And I said, his face and his nose and his grimacing, I said, he's fixing to go ballistic on you. And the guy's like, oh, you're crazy. And then about 3 minutes later, we had rodeo. And so I got the horse caught. He was like a huge blue roan. I got the horse caught, and he was so tall. He had high withers and a high backbone because he was just so tall. And I took the saddle and the blanket off, and sure enough, the guy he wanted to use a specific saddle. And I said, that's not a good saddle for that horse because his withers are too high, and it's going to put the pressure on the wrong spot on his back, and you're going to make him sore. I said, if you're going to use that saddle, you're going to have to use 2 pads, and you're going to have to wedge it up on his withers, and you're going to, and he had to use that saddle. Well, when he had plowed through all his, going off trail with his horse instead of just on the trail that we had worked so hard to maintain, this man from California just had to off-road it on this poor horse. He had gotten, like, a part of a sassafras limb up under the saddle blanket, and it had basically just stuck right in that horse's spine. And it had rubbed the hair off and made a sore, and he was bleeding. And I looked at the man and I said, guess who's walking back to the barn? And he goes, you're kidding me. And I said, I'm not putting you back on this horse. I said, you hurt him. And I said, if you put more pressure on that, it's going to take longer to heal, and it's on a place to where if it goes deeper, it's going to have nerve damage, and then he's not going to be able to be used. I said, so you're walking back to the barn. I said, you can double with me, you can double with her, but you will be walking part of the way. And we got the horse back to the barn. So I've always been that way. I've always been a weird person. I've always been that way. Always been that way. My dad thought I was, like, touched by Satan, and my mother, because she grew up with the church, she just knew I was a lot like her dad and a lot like her grandmother, my great-grandmother. I think I hear my husband. I think you might be home early tonight. That would be great. That means I need to shut up. So, if you want something to email me, list it as a purchase and your name, and so that I can start making a list, writing everything down, and making sure we get everything down in a line, get it taken care of, so I can get it done, and then get it listed so that you can purchase it and go on. And if it's something, if you really want it and we're talking about it, and it's going to be something, it's going to be too much for you at that time, just say, I really want this, but I think at this time it's going to be too much. Set it aside. I will keep everything that we wrote, and I will just set it aside. And if you come to a moment where you can do it, just yell at me, and I'll still have all the notes. But also for the one that wanted the smaller item, email me and remind me what we talked about, because I remember I said the smaller item and I will work with you, but I've said like 5 gazillion things since then. Remind me, email me, and we will talk about that, because I have a lot of materials that I do need to use, and if I can use them in a manner to use them up without waste and to get them gone, then I will try to do something for you at a good price so that I can get those leftovers out the door and get you a decent price and do a smaller item. And as I start to do more, I'm going to try to do different sizes of stuff so that not everyone has, you don't think that you're going to have a huge price. There'll be other options. So, I think probably the more you get to know me, probably the more weirder you think I am. So, I'm glad I've showed everything. I've got another Coyote Pelt that I did photographs. He's hanging right here. I did photographs of yesterday. He's going up. He is tube skinned, which means he's all together. He's a tube. And so if you get him and you want to cut him apart, you can. Or if you just want to leave him tube skinned and drape him somewhere, you can. I've got 2 more Coyote Pelts that I've got to take pictures of. The first good weather day that my back is going to allow me to stoop over and take pictures. And I'm going to try to keep 3 Coyote Pelts posted at all times, because I know that there's a woman here that was interested in 2 at one point. So I want to give an option. And Denise, if you are wanting dream catchers and you're absolutely positively sure that you want those, then check your email, because I emailed you not long ago with a photo. Email me and let's start planning those out. And then because you've got the older daughters, and then the one with the 3 daughters, let's start getting those planned out, because those are things that I probably will, after I get to know about your children, I probably will special order certain charms to go on them, so that it resonates and they know that when they get it, I made it for them. I didn't just manufacture it and make them all look the same. I made it for them. So I will have to go either onto a couple of sites. I don't think my back will make it to Hobby Lobby, but I think I can go on a couple of sites and get the charms that I know I like, that look good, that dangle right. I can get them ordered and on their way, so that when I make it, because I have to put them actively on there when I weave it. I can't weave and then put them on there. I have to actively put it on there when I weave it. So I need to get all of that ordered. And then I will be making 2 tiny dream catchers over the next few days, and I will be putting those up. So if you want a tiny dream catcher that's little, that you can put in your car, or you can put above your bed if you want to, I'm going to be making 2 little ones. They're not going to be super intricate, but I'm going to be making 2 little ones because I've got 2 hoops that need to be used. And then planners are on the way, some with yarn, some with modeling clay, and we're going to branch out into some more professional items. I'm going to get a little bit more professional with some of the things that I really enjoy doing, which is the animal planners and the jewelry. And then I'm going to let David become a dead animal dentist and bring me some teeth so that I can clean them and bull them and bleach them and peroxide them again and get them nice and pretty. And start making my teeth and jawbone earrings, because I'm really excited to see how those come out. And antler earrings. So we've got a lot coming down the pathway. I'm getting really creative. And mostly it's because I have to sit still for so many hours a day. But, y'all, 3 weeks ago I was laying in bed and I was afraid that something had ruptured in my back. And that it had set up an infection that I was not going to be able to get well from. I was terrified. And then when I had the reaction to the antibiotic, I was terrified that it had then gotten so far ahead of my body trying to catch it and heal it, and then the antibiotic had hurt me, that I was like, I'm not going to bounce back from this. I literally had 2 days, and I didn't tell David, because he was worried enough, but Kim was with me, and I told Kim, I said, something doesn't feel right. My body's not responding correctly like it normally does. I'm not bouncing back. I'm not doing well, and I'm scared. And she's like, you're scared, and I was like, well, I'm scared that I'm not going to heal from this. I'm scared that this may be the tanker. I'm going down. And had I not had her with me to make me laugh and to keep my sense of humor and to not make me feel so horrible about some of the medical aids that we had to purchase for me at 43 years of age. It was so embarrassing. I do not know what I would have done without her. She literally got me through that. But there was a couple of days where I was terribly upset and scared because my body was not bouncing back right. It was not functioning right. So that scared me. So to now be at a place where I'm active and I'm engrossed, even though I'm handling a bunch of crap from my insurance companies and I'm having to fight that battle, that's fine. At least I am actively attacking something, moving forward, and I'm mentally latched onto something, and I'm doing something positive that is keeping me like aware, and it's making my body produce the adrenaline and the endorphins and the dopamine and the serotonin, and it's helping my body go, okay, yeah, we can fix this now. We can fix this. You've got your engine revved. You're going. So this has helped me more than you all know. Yes, the finances help a lot. I hate money. I hate money. Because whether you don't have enough or you have too much, it's just a problem. Money's just a problem. But this is helping me mentally in so many ways to stay motivated while I'm still healing from all of this and waiting for all these MRIs and all these other issues. But it's also helping me overcome the insurance financial barrier. So I appreciate you all so much. It's just, you all have no idea. Even if it's just a $5 to $7 trinket or keychain, just the thought that someone somewhere sat down long enough to be concerned about me and want to contribute in any way they could, that just keeps that momentum going, and it keeps me inspired, and it keeps me motivated, it keeps me wanting to keep pushing forward. And that's why in the last 3 days I have made the leaps and bounds that I have. So I'm bouncing back finally. My doctor is, because I can't afford to go see him anymore, so he calls and checks on me when he gets done in the evenings. He's like, are you okay? Do you need anything? And I'm like, no, I'm actually doing much better. I'm still not completely out of the pain woods, but it's tolerable, and I can handle it. I can meditate and get through it and kind of deal with it. But this is just, without you all, I do not know what I would have done. And Kim and you all, I do not know what I would have done. Because I just needed the motivation and the momentum and the drive. And that's what you all provide. So I appreciate you so much. So be patient with me as I try to take photographs, because I'm picky about my photography. I try to make the pictures pretty. I try to make you enjoy visiting my page. I try to make you think that I care how it looks. And because I really do. I get I'm kind of a photography nerd, and I wish I had a better phone, which I'm going to remedy that as soon as I can. Um, but be patient with me as I get things listed. That's why I try to give you a preview of what's coming up, so that if you see something that's coming up in a few days, you know you can hang on and wait till I post it and grab it, and not feel forced to grab something else if you're just trying to help. I don't want you to buy something you don't want. Um, I don't want you to purchase anything if it's going to hurt you. Seriously, just coming on here and sharing with you all helps me a lot. So I appreciate you so much. This is what the internet's supposed to be used for. This. Do you see how unswollen I am? Do you know how big and swollen that used to be? Do you see how it's going away? Do you see how my face is thinning up again? And my eyes are brightening up again, and I'm looking normal again. I don't look like I'm been stung by a hornet's nest and got Macaulay Culkin crying over me. So my body is bouncing back, and it's bouncing back like ferociously the last few days. It's doing really good. Now, where I was so swollen with the mastoiditis last year, I'm not going to get rid of all this flab because it expanded so much. It stressed the skin last year. But I am very happy with how much it has unswollen, and my face and things have toned up, and my skin color is so much better. I feel as though whatever happened needed to happen. My body needed to go through it, and even though it was painful, I think whatever happened had to happen so that my body could fix something. Because a lot of the pain, the swelling, and I had been doing a lot of lymphatic massages because I had been swelling in the lymph systems for months. I've been having a lot of lymph swelling, but everything was always coming back okay on the blood work and everything. And I was like, dude, I've got lymphatic swelling. It's not draining. And I was having to do the lymph, massages and even under the arms and in the groin and behind the knees. And my lymph system now, I'm not got any pain. It's draining. I have knees again. I don't have the huge water knots above my knees. I am having issues with my right quad. I think it's trying to atrophy like my left quad. But I think that's probably just the RSD. But a lot of the stuff that had been the additional issues with the mastoiditis, the swelling, my ears are draining. I have no water in my ears. I have no earache. I have no sinus issues. I don't wake up with swollen eyes. But whatever happened, I think had to happen so that my body could get over the hump of whatever was going on. Because I kind of feel like I got a clean start. Like I've got a fresh start. And I'm not having... Because I was not... On my left lymph, they were not draining so bad that when I slept on my left side, I would be sore. And I would have to wake up and like be pushing my clavicle lymphs and I mean it was bad, and I couldn't lay on my left side. Now I can sleep on my left side, y'all. So, and I know I had so many people praying for me, and so many people praying for healing, and so many people, I had people that had candles lit for me. I had people in multiple religions, sending up their thoughts and prayers for me. And like I tell you, I don't care if you pray to your cat Booger. As long as you're sending up good energy, good vibes, it does good things. And I really think that something happened that needed to happen so that my body could overcome whatever it had been battling. Because for the last 18 months, I had been battling something horrible that was just not letting me go. And right now, as I'm healing, I feel more clear-headed and more like myself than I have in a really long time. If I could get the little tops of my pelvis back here and the muscles above that to ease up a little bit, that would help a lot. But what you all have to understand about me is where I've ridden horses since I was 3 years old, because I was a blacksmith's daughter and I grew up in barns. And I always had my saddles. I always bought my saddles, only rode my saddles, and When I became pregnant with my son and found out I was pregnant, went to the doctor. They had so many issues when they started doing ultrasounds, and they found out that my pelvis was tipped, but it wasn't just tipped. Um, my birth canal had already hardened, and it had hardened into the shape of the tree of my saddle. You know, the wood in the middle of the saddle is called the tree of the saddle. And so when I went to labor with Lane, I had a lot of pressure in my lower area. I was on a labor ball and it wouldn't work. I was dying. I was hurting. I had them bring my saddle stand in my saddle, and I sat on my saddle. And as soon as my pressure points and my pelvis hit those pressure points on that saddle, I felt so much better. And the doctor was like, "This is the first time we have had a saddle in the hospital." And I was like, "Dude, man, this helps so much better," because I had lain completely natural. And I was like, "This is so much better. This helps so much." And he had known, you know, that everything was tipped. But then after I had Lane and they could actually do some x-rays and look even further, he found out that not only was my pelvis tipped and the back of it was like widened, but the front had formed around my saddle. And so I did not have near the give that most first-time mothers have in the birth canal, because I had been in the saddles for so many years that my pelvis had molded to the saddle. I guess we're lucky I rode in a 16-inch saddle with a wide tree so I could have kids. But that's why my childbirth with Lane was 32. It was 32 or 34 hours. 32, I think. Very painful, and I had a very hard time passing him. I almost had to have a C-section. Thank God for a very good au naturel doctor that really hung in there with me. It was very painful. I had him completely natural. I thought I was tough. Turns out I was just stupid, because I should not have had him natural. But I did get a fracture in my pelvis when I had him. But they sent this contraption home with me that I had to sit on. It looked like a Bumby seat for a baby, but it had you had to sit on it like a saddle. And it forced that pelvis back over, so when it healed, my birth canal widened. And so when I had Haley, she just slid right on out into the world. It's just, whoo, there she was. I had no problems with her whatsoever. Matter of fact, the doctor said, "Stop pushing." And I said, "Dude, it's a 4-lane highway down there. I can't stop it." So, whatever the doctor did, that contraption worked. But, so my pelvis does cause me a lot of problems now, because I don't have the core muscles I used to have when I was riding horses every day. And the core muscles helped me compensate for all of that. And when I was in the saddle and doing my job, that's what it was made for. But I'm not made to sit in seats. I'm not made to sit on flat surfaces. My pelvis is made to sit in a saddle, and I haven't sat in a saddle in 6 years. And I had somebody let me sit on their Biggs, 17-hand thoroughbred a few years ago, and I had to climb up on the bleachers and sling my leg over and get on them. And the moment I got in that saddle, I had relief from my RSD that I had not had in years. And I was like, man, if I was not super fat from all these surgeries and all these steroids and all these medications and all, if I could stay in the saddle, I probably would not have the pain, because my body is molded for that. So and every time I go to a new doctor, I have to explain that to them, and they freak out, and then they request all my files, and they're like, "Holy crap, we've never seen this before." And I'm like, "Well, now you have." So I'm just a very strange person. I've had a very strange life, and honestly, if they made saddle racks that could probably hold my fat butt up right now, I would probably put another saddle on and sit in it. But 2 years ago, when I was at my worst, and I was really having just a hard time walking at that point, I had a family that had bought a horse. She hadn't had a horse in 20 years. She had stopped her love of horses, had all her kids married, then her husband had left her and she had to raise all the kids. She got remarried. This wonderful man bought her this great little old mare that was just a sweetie pie. And she was trying to ride a bareback and trying to learn how to ride again after 20 years bareback. And I was like, listen. And my saddle was like a $1,200 saddle, and I'd had it for 20, 21 years. And I bought it when I was a teenager. And I looked at her and I was like, listen, I will sell you my saddle for $200, but in the event you get rid of the horse, you sell it back to me. And so they actually ended up a few years later getting rid of the horse. And I was going to buy it back, but my sister-in-law, who loves to use it too, she loves my saddle too, she was like, just let me buy it. It can stay here. I'll keep it. I'll use it. But if you need to come and sit on it, she's like, we'll sit it on the edge of the arm of the couch and you can sit on it. I was like, okay, fine. So she's got my saddle now. But I've not sat in it in a long time, and one of the reasons I haven't is because I've been doing a lot of different physical therapy and a lot of water aerobics, and it's been working, so I've not wanted to like mess it up. But also, when I sit in my saddle and I smell it, and it brings back all those memories, I cry. I just start crying because I can't ride anymore, and that was where I was the happiest, and I just cry. So even if I'm terribly happy and I would go over there terribly happy, the moment I would sit in the saddle and I would get the first whiff of that leather the leather and the first whiff of my horses that I had, because I trained 6 horses with that saddle, and 2 of them I kept until they passed away, and the other 4 I still know where they are. And as soon as I got a whiff of it, I will just start bawling, because that's where I want to be, and I can't be there anymore. And I actually have a whole bunch of old pictures of our lifestyle, and it rotates around farms and horses and draft horses and mini horses and farm life. So I'm going to put all those together in just a slideshow with some music so that you all see more of the background of me and how I raise my kids and how important just farm life and animals and that is to us, and you'll understand that more. But yeah, my saddle that I bought when I was a teenager is still just like 5 miles down the road. My sister-in-law loves it. She keeps it. It just makes me want to cry when I try to sit in it. But now when I was in labor, it was better than the labor ball. Just telling you. So, that was great. Lane gets a kick out of that story. Thinks it's hilarious. But that was better than the labor ball. The doctor thought I was crazy, and but that was a rough few days on my body. I think I might have had 1 3-hour nap. I think they gave me 1 shot of something around 21 hours in, and I slept for like 2.5 hours. Woke up in another just hard lockdown contraction, and was still like everybody kept coming, like everybody that was not super close to me that was just stopping by to see if the baby had been born. They had been there like 3 times, and like, I've been to work, I've left work, I've come back, no baby, I've gone home, I've gotten up early to come here, no baby, I've gone to work, I've come back, no baby. And I'm like, dude, I'm trying. But Lane gets really mad at me because when I was having the pressure and I had sat on the saddle, and then the doctor said that Lane had dropped too far down, I couldn't sit on the saddle anymore, and so they had taken the saddle out of the room and like put it in the waiting room with my parents and my family. And I was like, man, I can't sit on that labor ball, and I was like, I've got to sit somewhere where I can feel gravity and push. And I looked at him and I was like, I'm gonna sit on the toilet. And the nurse went and put this container or something in the toilet. And she was like, now you can sit on the toilet. And Lane gets so mad at me, but I was like, I crowned you on the toilet. And he's like, gee, thanks, Mom. I've always known I was a piece of crap. But it was just, because of my pelvis and all the issues. And yeah, and then they made me walk back to the bed to have him, and I had to put myself in the bed. Nobody helped me, and I was not impressed. As of course I just turned 20 2 days before, and I was having a baby. I was not impressed with the medical system back then either. So I guess that should have been like a hello. So, but no, Haley, no problem. I watched the Lakers game while I was in labor. I had an epidural. I got to watch my belly go up and down, and I was like, this is neat. Been here, done this, got the t-shirt. Don't want to know I'm here this time. And that epidural worked really great, and then it stopped all of a sudden. They were going to roll me into surgery and tie my tubes after, until I got up and walked myself to the bathroom, and then they called and canceled surgery. And that was the first time I had a paradoxical reaction to a medication. And the doctor said had they really paid attention and started putting things together, they would have started to understand that my RSD started to really present when my body started to break down with the kids. And then when the trauma of the axe situation happened when I was a wilderness counselor and damaged the rest of the nerves in my left side, that was the crash and burn moment when my body no longer could come back and the RSD just overwhelmed and took over. So in retrospect, all my doctors are like, oh my God, it was textbook. But sadly, I'm from Appalachia, and none of the doctors were trained very well. So that's how it happened. The things we talk about on here. Oh well, someone's going to get educated and they're going to know, and maybe I will save somebody from the pain and the trauma and the insurance issues I've gone through. That's the big thing. So. I thought that was a coyote, but I think it's just a dog. It sounded really funny. I'm going to get off here. I'm going to check on my husband and see if he's working super, super late or when to expect him. I really want to paint my nails, so I know I'm feeling better. And then I'm going to rest, and then I'm going to get up tomorrow, hit the mini possum, check my emails, start making lists, so get those emails in, and we're going to start rolling tomorrow. I'm pulling my computer chair in here so I can sit on something softer. I've got a pillow that I can put in it. And we're going to start rolling to get this work done. And I'm going to get David on his task so I can get the Dreamcatcher stuff cut, soaked, and bent. Because that will take a while. I have to soak them and bend them. So, everybody get your emails in. Thank you for spending time with me. God, I've talked way too much, but I've enjoyed it. We're making progress. We're got great momentum. We're moving forward. I feel really positive about making it through this month and getting April started and life getting a little bit better. And I'm just ready to kick whatever's butt is in my way right now. So let's just keep this momentum going. And you probably won't hear from me tomorrow. I'm probably going to be working. I may do a post and leave some pictures or respond to emails. But I am going to try to get David on another live this weekend, or to do an educational video for you. So you will be seeing the hubby again very soon. So I'm going to go take care of a couple more things, and I'm going to stare at my dishes for a few more minutes before I wash a few. And then I'm going to try to get to bed and wake up and have another awesome day. Because today, minus the tired trip from Walmart, which got me, once I recovered, and I recovered well, I've done great. So y'all, it's looking up. Keep praying for me. It's working. It's working really well. I love yous all. Email me, and I will respond tomorrow. Mama Liz, on to the dishes. Yeah.